Chapter 2, The Girl Who Wouldn't Stay Dead. Morning came slowly. The kind of slow that didn't feel peaceful but dangerous, like the city was inhaling before a scream. Aaliyah didn't wake to sunlight. She woke to silence. A heavy, unnatural silence. The kind that made the hairs on the back of her neck rise before her eyes even opened. The first thing she felt was warmth. Not comforting warmth, but the warmth of unfamiliar sheets, a blanket heavier than anything she owned, and a faint smell of cedar and iron. Her heartbeat quickened. This wasn't home. This wasn't the station. Someone had moved her. Aaliyah's eyes snapped open. The ceiling above her wasn't cracked or stained or cheap. It was dark wood, polished, expensive, and terrifying in its perfection. The room around her was dim, filled with morning shadows that clung to every surface like watching eyes. She sat up abruptly. Pain shot through her wrist. A reminder of the iron grip that had dragged her away from death the night before. Ash. The memory hit her all at once. The station, the rain, his voice, his cold stare, his impossible strength. Aaliyah swung her legs off the bed and stood. Only to realize she wasn't alone. Someone else was in the room. A man, tall and lean, wearing all black, stood by the window. Not Ash. Someone younger, sharper, more restless. He had crystal-sharp eyes that flicked to her the moment she moved. He didn't smile. Didn't greet her. Just scanned her like he was making sure her soul was still in her body. His hand rested casually on a gun holster. "Good," he said. "You're awake." Aaliyah froze. "Where am I?" she asked, voice trembling just enough to betray the panic she wished she could hide. The man didn't answer. He tilted his head slightly, as if listening to something only he could hear. Then he pressed a button in his earpiece. "She's up," he said quietly. Aaliyah took a step back. "Who are you? Why am I here? Where's?" A shadow filled the doorway. She didn't have to look to know who it was. Ash walked in without sound. Like he owned the room, the building, the world. His black coat flowed behind him, still damp from rain, his expression carved from stone. The other man straightened instantly. Ash. Ash didn't acknowledge him. His eyes were locked on Aaliyah like she was a problem he hadn't solved yet. Aaliyah swallowed. "You brought me here," she said softly. Ash didn't blink. "That's correct." "Why?" He didn't answer. Not immediately. Ash had learned long ago that silence was a weapon. And right now, he was sharpening it on her nerves. "Finally," he said. "You were unconscious. That doesn't explain anything." His jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. "Leaving you in an empty station would have meant death." Aaliyah hesitated. "You mean, suicide?" Ash took one step closer. "No," he said. "I mean someone killing you." The room seemed to tilt under her feet. "What?" The younger man by the window finally spoke again. "Two men showed up at the station 20 minutes after Ash brought you here." Aaliyah turned to him, heart pounding. "Looking for me? Looking to make sure you were gone?" Her stomach dropped. Ash watched her reaction with a silence that felt like gravity. "No," she whispered. "That doesn't make sense. No one is looking for me. I'm nobody." Ash's eyes flickered, just for a breath. "You are not nobody." His voice was soft. Too soft. Like he was stating a dangerous fact instead of comforting her. Aaliyah shook her head. This is crazy. I don't know any criminals. I don't owe anyone. I don't. You're lying. Ash's tone wasn't accusatory. It was observational. Clinical. Sharp enough to cut. Aaliyah met his gaze with confusion and fear. I'm not lying. Ash stepped even closer. Close enough that she could see the faint scar running along his jaw. Close enough that his presence felt like a physical touch. Someone wanted you dead last night, he said. And they still do. Aaliyah's breath caught. Why? She whispered. Ash's eyes lowered to her wrist. The one he held the night before. For a moment, something unreadable flickered behind his gaze. A memory, a ghost, a regret. I don't know yet, he replied. But I will. There was a promise in his tone. Not a gentle one. A dark one. A violent one. Aaliyah took a shaky step back. You can't keep me here. Ash's gaze hardened. I'm not keeping you here. She blinked. You're protecting me. The room fell silent. Even the rain paused outside the window. Protecting her. The words tasted strange in the air. As if their existence shocked even him. Aaliyah let out a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. Why? She asked again, softer this time, more fragile. Ash's jaw worked slightly. Like he was resisting the urge to answer honestly. Finally, he said. Because someone already died on my watch. The younger man looked away. The kind of look that said this wasn't something Ash discussed. Ever. Aaliyah felt her chest tighten. She didn't know his story. Not yet. But she could feel the weight in his voice, the shadow behind his eyes. Ash was a man built from pain. And for some reason, that pain had reached out for her in the darkness. Aaliyah's voice broke slightly when she spoke again. What happens now? Ash stepped closer. Close enough for her to feel the cold from his clothes, the warmth of his body beneath them. Now, he said quietly. You stay alive. It wasn't a request. It wasn't advice. It was a command. And yet, for the first time since she lost her mother, Aaliyah felt seen. Not comforted. Not saved. But seen. Dangerously so. Ash turned to the younger man. Prepare the file. The man nodded once. Yes, boss. Aaliyah frowned. What file? Ash looked at her with the kind of intensity that made her breath catch. The one that explains, he said. Why someone tried to erase you last night. Aaliyah stared at him. The room felt suddenly too small. Erase me? Ash's eyes darkened, voice dropping lower. Someone planned your death long before you chose it. Aaliyah's knees nearly buckled. Ash moved forward instinctively. As if he intended to catch her. But stopped himself halfway. As if touching her again might break something he didn't understand yet. He steadied himself, stepped back, and simply said. You're not dying, Aaliyah. His tone was final. Deadly. Possessive in a way he didn't yet realize. And that was the moment. Though neither of them knew. That danger slipped into the room like a second shadow. Because saving her was one thing. but keeping her alive. That would unravel secrets that should have stayed buried.